You're down one. Was Justin just around the corner?
We've lost Justin.
We've lost Justin?
I think we'll find him
Will we
soon.
find him? Really? That's unfortunate.
I can entertain you for a while
I'll have a sit down with you. So how was the last year? Was it awesome?
It was pretty epic. Not awesome, but straight epic.
I mean, what happened? I mean, you won. You were covered in champagne. And
exactly.
Take us from there. What happened?
Yeah, so a year ago, exactly, I think it was the same date. I was like walking across the town completely like wet from champagne that they poured over my head. And then from then on, it was just like uphill. Of course, it couldn't get any worse. But so it was, an amazing year. We've grown substantially since I've been last here, and managed to get some successes under our belt.
But slow down. So you won here. You got covered in champagne, and the next thing I see is you essentially moved to the Valley and got a mega funding. But what happened in between?
So in between, we actually got accepted to Y Combinator, as Michael Seibel was one of the judges last year at the pitch competition. So he actually then advised us to apply for Y Combinator, and we got accepted. Had an amazing experience there, and that led up to raising a substantial round of funding.
And how did that change your company? I mean, normally it is when you get substantial funding, that's when VCs come on board. That's usually when the character of a company may change. How was that for you?
So of course, a lot of things change all of a sudden. You have some money to spare, and it doesn't mean that right away you know what to spend it on. So sometimes it's very hard, especially the hiring process is hard. It's hard to get the right people on board. But then, as a lot of startups are usually founded by quite creative people. I think it's a part of your learning curve, and I think we managed to get our way around it quite fast.
And I mean, we've had a bit of an exciting start just now because we're still looking for Justin, and obviously
I
know
saw him over there.
You saw him over there. Well, Justin, if you can hear us, I'm having a great time out here, but I presume you're more qualified. Well, I'll just have a glad chat with you. Justin, if you're backstage, come on stage. If not, we'll just talk. So maybe you can tell us while we're waiting a little about your baby, so to speak.
Sorry, about?
About your baby. You won last year. What does Bellabeat do?
So Bellabeat is a company developing tools for self-tracking for women. So our first product that we presented last year on this stage was a small device connected to a smartphone that enabled pregnant moms to listen to their baby's heartbeat and share the experience with their loved ones. And just a month ago, we actually launched 3 new products that will help women to lead a healthier lifestyle during the time when they are thinking to become a mother, are becoming a mother, or have already become a mother. And I will talk about the products a bit more specifically later. But we're still keeping our focus on women designing products for women's health.
Once you settled to the US, what was like the biggest thing that amazed you? What you were not expecting? What was different?
So of course we thought that being a founder in Europe is hard, and we thought it's going to get so much easier when we get to the States, and it wasn't like that. It's hard being a European founder in the States. The cultural difference is quite bigger than you would expect. You can't really answer an email properly at the beginning. It's a different way of doing business. Americans are very straightforward, very good in selling. And as a European, you have to adapt pretty quickly.
But I have to jump into that. So you say writing emails is differently. Selling is you have to sell. How did you learn that? Where did you get the tools from?
By doing mistakes. Basically, a couple of times you come across as totally stupid and uneducated, and then you get a hand around it, you learn. And of course YC also helped a lot with that, teaching us, helping us with advice. So we were never basically completely alone in it. That was our luck.
I mean, most startups over here, they dream of going to the Valley, they dream of joining YC or Y Combinator. What happened once you got accepted by Y Combinator? What was the first thing?
Yeah, so basically what Y Combinator enabled us for us was, bridging over from Europe to the States. And basically, we instantly got a base in it. And, through them, we were able to expand our, network, grow our network, from being non-existent to, having met quite a lot of really good people that then, some of them then invested in us and, are still helping us on our journey, so.
And I mean, you are also a hardware startup.
Yay.
Justin, it's a pleasure. Pioneers, make some noise for Justin. We're just having a lovely discussion.
Right.
No worries about Y Combinator. I take it you can have a chat about that.
I went to the bathroom.
So welcome on stage.
My
Welcome
apologies.
to Vienna.
I think I need a clicker.
Take care. You need a clicker? I'll get you a clicker. We've got Justin for you. We'll get you a clicker.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, Pioneers. See you later.
Better late than never, right? All right. Lukewarm applause. So you already told your entire story without me.
Yeah, I was saving some good parts for you.
Okay, all right. Clicker, can we get that?
Yeah, I think
There we go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So where were you? Where'd you leave off?
I think we just went through the story briefly, and now we can focus on more details and stuff.
Okay, we can go in depth and do the deep dive.
I already told what Bellabeat is and who I am, so we can start from there.
All right. So how did you? I mean, one of the things I really like about you, and I've always respected, is you have this very unconventional route into startups.
Yeah.
Something that's I think. I like the founders who didn't just study CS at Stanford and then go on to start their companies.
Yeah.
Tell us about how you started.
Yeah.
This is my favorite photo. This is my favorite photo of you.
Yeah,
tell us about
me. I actually studied fine art sculpture in Finland when I met my co-founder, and he then forced me to come back to Zagreb and work with him. But that's a really long story. But apart from that, this transition from being an artist to being a founder was actually quite interesting because it doesn't feel very unnatural because the work as an artist or as a founder is very similar. It's very creative. It's very also personal. And basically you are free to build what you love and stand behind it. And I think that's why it actually those two professions kind of overlap a lot.
Do you think your art helped you become a better founder?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, in our startup, I'm mostly focused on design, so I'm head of design, and I draw a lot of inspiration from art. What it also taught me is it taught me a lot of discipline, how to work and how to be alone on your project and execute stuff.
Okay, so we'll probably get back to that when we see their new products, right?
Yeah.
So. What was it like starting a company in Europe? Was it easy? Was it hard? What were your first couple months or year like?
So it was starting a company is obviously really hard. I mean, the first 6 months you're just basically trying to survive. Your life turns into this it's pure misery, and you're constantly tired. You have you're basically building your company with 2-3 people, and you have to execute everything on your own. And sometimes when you're shuffling huge logistics problems, you get inventive and pay people with beer to help you. I mean, that's mostly what you get. You get very resourceful and very inventful.
How did you do it? How did you start when you first you had the idea, you guys wanted to create this product for a baby heart rate monitor. How did you even figure out how to build the first version?
Yeah, so I mean, we were quite lucky because we got a lot of help from my mom because she's an obstetrician gynecologist. So we actually started working with her previously on remote patient monitoring system for prenatal care for professional care providers. So that's where we started from, and we were still, getting help from her, mentoring. So it was quite easy for us to, get a better insight into the field that we were working in, getting some help with, learning about technology that's already in use and then how we can improve it. And basically, we were just working from there. Of course, it's very hard to work in a field that is completely unknown to you. But if you're really interested in the field and you think it needs to be changed, you just find people who can help you with it.
So how did you actually build it? Like, did you have a background in kind of engineering, or did Sandro, or?
Yeah, so Sandro is an engineer, and I'm obviously sculptor, designer. So the process was, we just basically had like 5,000 euros, and we built our first prototype with that, and it was, a lot of, exploring on what we can use that's already existing, how we can simplify it, how can we better adjust it to our user, and start from there, and then make a first prototype from there, and then make improvements, constantly making improvements. And then when we started to get more revenue, we were also, we were able to do bigger steps in improvement.
And then when did you think that it started working? Like, you created this prototype, you sold some, and then okay, that's clearly a sign of it working. But
Yeah.
when did you think that it could be something that was big?
I think, our product has such an, emotional charge, and I basically always knew that this is going to work. And when we started to get our first users and their feedback, we instantly knew that we have something very valuable in our hand, something that can actually help, people. It's not just, some product that is, for fun or just, just for the sake of existing, but it's actually, making people happy and helping them.
Did you get any customer feedback on that helped you, encouraged you along?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, our first app was horrible, and we got a lot of actually help from our users on how to improve it, and we are still integrating their feedback into our product and improving it accordingly. So definitely, and their enthusiasm actually kept us going. And when we first got our feedback, your app sucks, we were so bummed. But then it was it sucks, but you could do this and that, and it will be awesome, and that helped us a lot.
Okay, so then, were there any problems? Were there points where, you wanted to give up, or that were hard for you to get through?
Yeah, I mean, being a founder is basically totally a horrible experience. It basically feels like this scene from Apocalypse Now. It feels like you've been dumped on a foreign shore, everything's exploding around you, and you have no idea what you have to do, and you kind of have to catch the perfect wave. And this is exactly what I get in my mind when someone asks me what are your problems as a founder? Everything's a problem. But you become really good in solving these problems, and that's the point of being a founder.
What was what were actual problems? What were the worst problems?
I think the worst problem was basically, we are, a hardware company, software company. We're trying to, juggle all the logistics around it, having customers. So, we have a lot of difficulties, but that's why we also have kind of a big potential to succeed if we manage to solve them. But recently, one of the biggest problem for us was, when we got funding and we started to grow, we had to hire really good people. And it's sometimes hard to battle for talent with, more established brands. And we were lucky that also our product has a lot of appeal to, professionals, because it's, something that can they can relate to, and it drives them to work with us. So But still, it was very hard to, select and hire the right people.
Okay, yeah, people management, that's always super hard. So I think you mentioned you were on stage last year, right, for Pioneers. So how did that go? Tell us about it, and how'd you decide to come? How'd you end up here?
Yeah, so we presented last year and won at the pitch competition. And basically, we decided to come because I think Pioneers has a very, growing reputation, quite important reputation for, the Central, Southern European region. A lot of people from our region are also attending today and have been attending last year as well. And I think it's very nice to see such a, great event, growing here in our part of the world as well, and like attracting really nice people. I mean, like this year, you and Kasar came, and it's like really cool thing for European founders to have the opportunity to meet founders from Silicon Valley as well.
So then what happened? Like what you pitched?
So, yeah, like I said, Michael Seibel was there. I love this picture of him. And he invited us to apply for Y Combinator. We got accepted. We were part of the winter 2014 batch. We had really great experience doing that. We ended up raising 4.5 million at the end. And then it went, up from there. Like we've traveled the world, developed new products, started new manufacturing. We've done some conferences, and we've grown. Like I said before, we have grown as a team. This is like us in Y Combinator in March, and this is us in August. So this is our team today. So like you can see that we've actually hired a lot of people in the last few months.
How did you decide to go and kind of move to California, at least for the course of YC? Was that like I mean, I'm sure that was like a super difficult decision. Like, just me, I mean, Michael's very charismatic. He's my co-founder of Justin TV, but I'm sure like just seeing him was like not enough alone.
Yeah, Michael was a big part of, moving us there. He is very charismatic. But mostly, I mean, we were trying to bridge over before we met Michael as well. Like we were thinking of how can we, move to the States, because most of our customers were coming from the States. So we knew that this is where our market is and this is where we should be. We also thought that it would be better for us if we then raise some capital from the States if this is where our market is. Yeah, it was an easy decision when we got accepted to Y Combinator. We basically just, packed our bags and left. Like, we're a bunch of 25-year-olds. It's not like something's holding us back.
That's awesome. Okay, so tell us what's next. What products are you, what are you building next?
Yeah, so just a month ago, we launched 3 new amazing products that are kind of like the next step towards revolutionizing prenatal care, but also bettering care for women in general. So the first one is Bellabeat Shell, which is based on non-invasive acoustic technology for listening to the baby's heartbeat. And it also functions as a baby monitor after the baby has been born. And we're still keeping this social aspect to it. You can still record the sound and share it with your loved ones, as we realize that actually the emotional aspects is the biggest drive for women to start self-tracking during pregnancy. And this is Bellabeat Leaf, which is a functional piece of jewelry. It's an activity tracker for women that tracks activity, sleep, and stress. So it reminds them to stay active during this important period of their life, becoming mother, and taking care of themselves. And this is Bellabeat Balance, which is a smart scale that enables women to track their weight, especially their pregnancy weight gain, and a newborn's weight after the baby has been born. So it helps them to track their own progress and also their baby's progress. And all three products are made of natural wood. As I talked before, I draw inspiration from my previous work as a sculptor a lot. And we draw a lot of inspiration from nature as well, as we think, becoming a mother is a very natural process. And we also believe that a very important part of getting wearables to actually become part of our everyday life is design. So we have this advantage that we know exactly who our user is, and we designed our products accordingly. So through the design, we're helping women to accept technology in their life and use it to better their lifestyle and take care of their health.
Awesome. Those are pretty beautiful products. All right, I think we're out of time now, probably on account of me being late. So thank you very much for telling your story.
Yeah, thank you so much.